No, you're going along to this when? Soon?
Yeah, soon, yep.
Okay. So, Peter, how are you with sensory deprivation?
I prefer to be censored.
Yeah, but I mean, like, have you been in any environments where the lights have been turned out? And I'm not talking about cinema, but where you've got to rely upon either your sense of taste or your sense of hearing or whatever it might be. Have you been in any of those environments or not really?
No, not really.
Okay, and what about you, Dave, in terms of your background?
When I was a kid, we used to like to go and explore abandoned buildings and stuff like that. So, yeah, there was a few times when we went into places that were completely pitch dark, yeah.
What about, what's that called when you go to the Luna Park type environment where it's dark and you're on the car that goes, the little cart that goes around on a track and it's dark and then things jump out at you.
Oh, the ghost train.
The scenic railway.
Yeah.
Scenic railway. You've never done that?
I've done ghost trains and things before, yeah.
Yeah.
I also went up to Arradale Asylum a couple of years ago and did the ghost tour up there as well, where at one stage, yeah, at one stage they actually take you into a room that is one of the most haunted rooms of the asylum, and they shut the door behind you, and it's completely pitch dark in there.
Oh no! How did you handle that?
Yeah, it's interesting because you actually start to get used to it. I've also done the one in Hobart, down in Tasmania at Port Arthur, where they put you in one of the solitary confinement cells and shut the door, and it's exactly the same. You lose all perspective of where the walls are and everything because it's, even in the middle of the day, it's pitch dark.
Yes, I've done that one as well.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of my Port Arthur. Wow, I mean it's quite a remarkable place. I professionally, I had a job after the massacre, which changed gun laws, and there's a topic again in terms of what's going on, and more killings in the United States this week, and mass shootings, shocking. But my job after Port Arthur, people never wanted to go down there. They were scared. So my job was to restore tourism to the area after Port Arthur. That's just a by the by. But it's a remarkable place, and it's beautiful and it's picturesque. But I don't think it would have been that way when people were imprisoned there, 100 years ago. Anyway, let's talk a bit about Darkfield. Sensory deprivation, in particular that of sight, results in, or what should we call it, acuity of sound. And it's a 4-part immersive experience. That's Darkfield. And the venue, I mean, I'm discovering Chinatown in ways I never expected to, because both these things were in close timing to one another. So the venue is 4 purpose-fitted white shipping containers. Yep, they're decked out shipping containers, and they've literally transported them to the middle of the city. It's 138 Little Bourke Street, okay? And I think 200 and something Little Bourke Street was where I was talking about the Golden Square. Anyway, 138 Little Bourke Street is a vacant lot that's been transformed for this particular purpose, for Darkfield. And each of the 4 shows is named on the side of the shipping container. And I speak of Seance and Flight, both of which were actually introduced to Melbourne audiences before the pandemic. And then you've got the newbies, Coma and Eulogy. So each of the 4 experiences lasts between 20 minutes and 35 minutes. You get your writing instructions, you receive your writing instructions outside before you go into the shipping containers, and soon thereafter, once you're inside, the lights are turned off, all is jet black. Here you've got headphones on, and they relay respective story arcs through vocalization and sound effects, those 2 elements, and movement is also part of the broader offering. So it's all about perception. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'll go into a little. 2 rows of plush theatre seats, up to 32 people can be accommodated, line the seance container. And there's a large, thin table, a long, thin table, in between the 2 rows of seats. And we're instructed to place our hands on the table and not remove them. And the narrator begins to question whether we are true believers. Then, 33 seats from a Boeing 737 are the hallmarks of the flight container. They've gutted a Boeing 737 to make this possible. Good on them. And before the lights are dimmed, using the old word, a hostie bids us a warm welcome via a small video screen. So it looks like you're inside a plane. The flight is not without incident. Enough said. 28 comfortable bunk beds have been fitted into the coma repository. And we lie down. And we're encouraged to take a harmless pill. It's optional, right? You don't have to. You take that supposedly to relax. And that's when our treatment begins. Now, just whose eulogy are we privy to in the last of the shipping containers, which is fitted with voice recognition software? And so it responds to what we say. It can house 25 people. And we are assigned to open cages and aided by a chaperone. This chaperone is not a physical, it's a chaperone in our ears. So soon enough, we find out whose eulogy we are privy to. Suffice to say, the elevator only goes one way, and that is down. All of this, Darkfield, is the brainchild of Glenn Neath and David Rosenberg. They've been collaborating on various ventures for the last 10 years. So Darkfield is a decidedly different experience. You're transported to foreign environments, you never know what you're going to hear or feel next, and you can take from it what you wish. You can interpret it as you will. The element of surprise is a decided winner, but don't worry, no one's about to lay a hand on you. It's not as if you're going to jump 3 feet in the air because somebody's going to put a hand on your shoulder from behind. Much of it's in the head. It's simply a question of how one's mind will process the sounds, the narrative, and the conversations. I should say collectively, some are loud, others are moderate, and still others are whispered. All of that is integral to the offering, right? So it's not at the one level. You don't have the ability to be able to turn down the sound. It's set at a level that they believe is appropriate. But, yeah, there are some loud sounds, so be aware of that. It's definitely worth giving Darkfield, which is on, by the way, till the 31st of July, it's definitely worth giving it a go. And for bookings, you go to darkfield.com.au. But Dave, you're a big brave soldier boy, having been institutionalised in the past. I think this should be absolutely fine. It's fascinating. I went by myself and I was listening to conversations of others, and I think there was a genuine warmth in it. People like being scared. I mean, you're a big horror genre man, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I found when I went up to Arrowdale for the Ghost Tour was that you get a bunch of people there and you think everyone's going to be like a horror fan. There are people there that genuinely want to get scared, and that's why they go, because they know it's one of the most haunted buildings in Australia.
Oh, yeah, look, I've got to say to you that this, it didn't scare me as much as I suppose feared it could. I just sort of took in the experience, and I mean, you don't have to do all 4, by the way. With Darkfield, you can sort of engage in 1 or 2 or whatever. And as I say, the time frame is really short, right? We're talking 20 minutes to 35 minutes, but they're individual shows, so you can pick as many or as many or as you wish, and go for it from there. Look, I wanted to talk about all sorts of other things, but guess what? Time is